let me know when it's 1800, Chief.
25 seconds. Okay, Mr. Mayor.
State law requires this body to announce at this time that a copy of the current Open Meetings Act is available at the back of the room where it is accessible to the public. Sisson.
Here.
McDermott.
Here.
Gibbon.
Here.
Burbbaum.
Here.
Hines.
Here.
Johnson.
Here. Thank you. If we can all stand, please, for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Before we start, I'm going to pull item number 9, because we've heard we've got form letters from everybody on the west side of the street opposing the creation of the paving district. This piece of property has been on the edge of the city. Part of that has been ag for years and years. It has recently been being developed into residential, but we had property owners who was opposed to that, so I am pulling that for now. Item 1 is the consent agenda. Approve this agenda, pay the claims as submitted, approve the minutes of the June 16th, 2020 council meeting, and approve 2 special designated liquor licenses, both for wedding receptions in August.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
They're given.
I'll second.
Troy Urban.
Burbbaum.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes.
Thank you. Item 2 is public forum. Anybody wants to speak to the council of any item that is not on the agenda, now is the time and place to bring it before the council. Please stand and speak your name.
Steve Tellis. Good evening again, folks. I was here in February and we talked about the Dwayne's trailer court mess, and you know, I will say that one of the things disappeared was some of the junk cars on the corner of East and 6th, but they were replaced with campers that people are living in full time. I did have a conversation with Dane Jensen about sanitation, and to my knowledge, just about every municipality has some sort of a code governing permanent residences being hooked to sanitary sewer, and that's been there since basically the advent of indoor plumbing. Neither camper that's sitting there is hooked to sanitary sewer. It appears that the camper is being lived in full time, the blue one. The other one just blocks view of 6th and East. That's a real dangerous intersection with that mess there now. The other trailers that are uninhabited and or uninhabitable have windows broken out. Numerous, I mean, even if they were to move, as an engineer, I can tell you they wouldn't survive a trip to the next lot. The frames and things on those are sold and rusted that they wouldn't move. It's pulling down our property values in our neighborhood. And I would think that, you know, coming in from the east and trying to lure in people, they're doing a beautiful job building rental properties out north. But when you come to town and you see that, it's really a downer. You know, it's not something that somebody really thinks, oh, this is a great town. You come into that mess and it's like, whoa, I hope the rest of the town is like this, which we know it isn't. The sanitation thing, as far as a, you know, gray area, no, it's not. It either is or it isn't. You know, it's either hooked to sanitary sewer or it's not. That's the kind of ordinances those are. Other ordinances about how long a vehicle can be there, other things like that are left to interpretation and normally require a city attorney be present. But the sanitation, things like that, it's a mess, folks. Again, I would love for all of you to come drive up there and take a tour. It's ridiculous, and it just continues to get worse. You know, for a while it was a salvage yard, now it's a campsite. Campers stuffed behind with cedar branches, dry cedar branches, and right next to it's a barbecue. So it's ridiculous, folks, it really is. Anybody got any questions or comments, or, you know, I'm asking for your help. You know, and there's been some questions as, okay, what would happen to the property? Cambridge, Nebraska, where I grew up, a company by the name of Zealand Farms bought the ethanol plant. They moved into town and became a big partner with the town. They built a travel plaza. It serves two purposes. They can sell their own ethanol through blender pumps, and they put in a truck repair, things like that. Zealand Farms out of Michigan, out of Zealand, Michigan. That's who they are. But we have Kappa down the road. You know, this is about a 50-mile jump between towns. Would it be a good place for something like that? Possibly. You know, I'm just saying that I'm not going to come in here and complain without maybe having a few suggestions of how it could be changed.
I've driven through there. I know what you're talking about.
We need to do something. It gets worse.
Not pretty.
Sir, what was your name?
Steve Tellis. I live at 1519 6th, which is the Jackaloni's addition there. There's a small addition of newer homes that are, we're surrounded by commercial now, so.
Thank you. Anybody else want to address the council on any other issues? Thank you for coming up. I will close the public forum. Item 3, approve barricaded portions of 11th Avenue and Logan Street from 10 to 11 tomorrow, July 8th, 2020 for South Central Economic Development District open house and ribbon cutting where Nebraska governor is going to be coming.
Yes, thank you for letting me come join you. I'm Lori Ferguson with South Central Economic Development District. You probably all know me. Do you all have this in your packet? No. Okay, perfect. I won't pass those around then. But yes, we are having a ribbon cutting and open house event tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, or excuse me, 10:30 at the corner of 11th and Logan. And just to give you a brief history as to why I'm here tonight, asking for this kind of short term. It was until June 19th that we had confirmed that the governor was able to attend, so that was past your last council meeting. And in our world, we were just planning on hosting the event on the lawn until we discovered last Wednesday that with all of the much needed soaking of the new sod for the property, it was much too soft to have that much foot traffic. So last Thursday morning, I contacted Chief DeMoon and asked about the possibility of barricading 11th Avenue, and he suggested from Arthur to Sherman Street, and so that's up for discussion, as well as part of Logan Street, maybe halfway up Logan Street between 11th and 12th, so that we can put picnic tables and host the event more on 11th Avenue and keep people off of the new sod. It is very soft. We've sent out over 100 invitations to the event, and so far I think we have a good turnout, but our goal is to host the governor, and State Senator Matt Williams is also coming to speak at the event. I noticed the hours are 10 to 11. I would like to ask the council for a little longer time so that we can get the picnic tables set up in the street. And the event doesn't end till 11:30 with the ribbon cutting. So we would still be using the area until 11:30 or noon. So I would propose 9:30, hopefully 9. But if it needs to be 9:30, we understand. There's just 3 of us now at the office, and we're the ones moving the picnic tables and the coolers of water and such as that. And we would anticipate sometimes people arriving as early as 10 o'clock. I know one person from Lincoln said today he'll be here at 10 o'clock. We have DED people coming, Nebraska Investment Finance Authority. So we're really making a big thing of it. And I spoke with Justin Pinkerman at the governor's office today, and they're excited to come. Holdridge was one of the last events they did before COVID shut down, and it will be one of the first ones on the governor's calendar. He is starting to get out and about, so they're excited to come. So we want to do it upright. And so my apologies why we're coming tonight is because we didn't know till last week that the sod would not be ready and support that much foot traffic. So I really want all of you to come if you can. I know the mayor is coming, and Dane, I believe, is coming. So and I need to visit with the chief. Assuming you approve this, we'd like to have the governor be able to park maybe at 11th and Logan. I don't know when or what route they will be taking from the airport. He's flying in at approximately 10:15 in the morning, and then will be driven by his security detail to the site. So any questions for me? I just kind of rambled through that, but
I don't know if our city employee, our street sweepers broke down. I don't know if we've got enough room in city employees to clean that much street by 10 o'clock in the morning. But we'll do our best.
okay.
Kim, is that a problem, or Chief?
Well, I know Kim and I discussed it. I don't know if Kim, were you thinking of cutting it off maybe at Logan and having park on the north side of?
I was just
11th
curious to how
anyway.
much parking you're gonna require, because I initially, when I talked to the chief, I initially thought we would block it off at 11th and North or 11th and Logan, and then you're gonna stand out on 11th, correct?
Right, we would be in front of the house, so actually Arthur to Logan is going to be the area that we would occupy on the south side.
Okay,
The speakers will be standing on the driveway under a canopy tent, speaking to the public. And I have gotten permission from Kevin Moriarty, if we need to put picnic tables on the grass on the Franklin School Project area, if need be. But that's kind of a distance away from our speakers, and we would like them to be able to get a little closer to the speakers.
so do you want the picnic tables on Logan Street or on?
But we
11th?
have picnic tables already, so we were hoping on the street, but if need be, we could put them just on the terrace to the south of the street.
Where would you like them? Because if you want them on Logan Street, then we need to block off Logan at 12th.
No, we won't put picnic tables on Logan, we're talking
Okay.
11th,
Okay,
that area.
so if we block off at Arthur Street and at Logan Street, you will have that whole block in there to do whatever you want, and then we'll just block it off solid,
Okay,
and then at those both places.
okay.
And then what do you, chief, think needs for traffic control?
Yeah, I don't know if you want to send a guy up or two. We'll have 2 officers working, myself and another person.
Okay, we can do some sort of traffic control at
Okay,
that point.
so you'll block on and I always get my directions mixed up, on the east side of Logan, so no traffic would be able to
Correct.
turn onto Logan from
And then
the
we'll go on
east. And then,
well, you don't want traffic going up Logan?
well, how would they, preferably not, if we could block it on the east side of Logan.
Okay.
So Sherman would be their last point of access to.
Okay,
Just that way we could have maybe some parking on the side streets of Logan and.
okay, well, we'll have to block it off by the church also then, the Catholic church, so people don't come south.
Do you have a sign that would say local traffic only for the people that live there?
What we'll do is we'll block it off half and we'll have an employee there.
Okay, The
And
chief
just
and I
govern it.
talked about maybe just going mid-block on Logan Street to allow some parking for guests and people who are arriving, but I don't even know what I don't know in the areas of traffic control, so I trust.
These two
gentlemen.
experts do.
Yeah.
They'll
so
handle it.
I'm just here to ask the question and trust the professionals to do it, so.
Ms. Ferguson, question when you talked to Kevin Moriarty. There's a lot of people that on 1000 block of Arthur who park across the alley on the old school property. Would be okay to do some parking over there?
I didn't ask him that question, and he's on vacation this week. He mentioned he would talk to Brett about not watering and different things, but I would be happy to call Brett. I just don't know how we could make that connection with the public.
Wouldn't be an issue if there's a couple cars there. Chief?
I know they were watering last week in there now.
They were
Could
watering
go.
yesterday or today, mid-block.
I know it could be.
We don't want traffic in there on top of the
Drive a car across there, it might depend.
I think if we could just keep parking on the streets would be the better choice, and no parking on 11th, obviously, but side streets would be helpful, so.
park on,
They can park on 11th up to Logan on the north side of the street. That's legal there. And actually, they can park on the north side all the way down to Lincoln Street if they're on the north side. And then, of course, they can park on Sherman.
And I'm not sure how we communicate to the governor's security detail that we would like to make parking available to them at 11th and Logan, so. you're
They'll
prob-
be used to that. I'll
Okay.
just make sure we're there.
Okay,
We'll wait.
perfect. You probably know what they'll be driving and everything too, so. Yeah, so.
Laura, is that house sold yet?
There is an accepted contract on it, yes, so we're working towards closing hopefully later July, early August. So it'll be a nice addition to the neighborhood. So I'm sure you all remember what stood there at one time, so this is a great project in partnership with Phelps County Development Corporation. You know, they cleared the lot and then sold it to us for $1, and then we brought a component home in, and probably within 2 days of having a realtor open house, had an accepted offer on it, so, yeah. So,
cool.
so,
Any questions from the council, concerns? Motion.
I make a motion we approve her request.
Mike Sisson,
I'll second that.
Mary McDermott.
What time are we gonna do it?
I was,
9 to 12.
9 to 12? Does that work?
Noon, yeah.
that would work for us great. We plan to be there about 8:30 and start doing some things, and then, you know, once we see the barricades, we can begin to move things out. So,
Okay, 9 to 12. McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Burbach.
Yes.
Hines.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
okay, thank you, council, and I look forward to seeing everybody there tomorrow.
Thank you.
Lori.
Item 4, approve blocking off East and West Avenues between 3rd and 4th Avenues from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. on Saturday, July 24th for the Eradicate Cancer Car Show. This was scheduled earlier this year with the COVID-19 regulations that was postponed.
Yep, so it's July 25th, Saturday, and it's from 8 until 4 in the afternoon. And I was thinking from 2nd to 4th on East and West Avenues.
Can we keep East Avenue open, Jamie?
Um,
The reason I say that, unless you've got permission from JB's and East Avenue Pub to,
So those are the two places that we're doing the event, and I've talked with Jerry at JB's, and then I've talked with the pub, and then I just talked with the Eagles as well. I have a meeting there on Thursday. But we're doing a poker run that day, same day, for law enforcement torch run. So we're having motorcycles come down, and then we're gonna try to do a little bit of like motorcycle show or whatever down to, and that's at JB's. And then we leave there at noon, and then when we come back to town, then we'll hang out at JB's again for the evening. And the Eradicate Cancer is the bunch of rat rod cars, and I've talked with Heartland Cruisers about maybe bringing some cars down. And with the popularity of all that, I'm basically just trying to support the local businesses down there, breathe life back into the bars and stuff that have been closed. To try to bring a bunch of people down, to go to the pub, to go into the Eagles, to go into the JBs, is kind of the thought.
Are you looking at using 3rd Avenue between East and West Avenue also?
Yeah, if we just shut down that area, so it'd be like that H from, and then people could park obviously, just at the areas around there, and then they could walk into the area, unless they have to show the cars that are in the show and stuff. So
Originally, it was asking for till 10 p.m.
yeah, just for when we got back from the poker run, and then if the business wanted to do anything outside or anything like that. But I haven't heard from them that they want to go any later, so I was thinking the car show ends about 4, so then we could just open it back up after around 4 o'clock.
As East Avenue can be busy coming
be
into
busy.
town and stuff.
Yep. But you do have that cutout that if we're at Second right there, you pull the railroad tracks and then go around, or either you
East
can
and
go up
west.
to Grant Street or you can go over to Sherman, no, not Sherman,
Garfield.
Garfield.
Arthur. Which semis take that route all the time anyway, so. I was thinking it would leave an opening or an out for people to still be able to get around it. And then I'm hoping we have a big turnout, so. I also talked with the boutique, 308 Boutique, and she was talking about maybe bringing like a rock wall or something down and setting it up out in the street.
Cool, good. I was wondering about them.
But that was earlier, when I was planning all of this a couple months ago, so I haven't talked with her recently, but I'm sure she's still on board.
308 can be busy on Saturday.
Yeah.
But
And there's, like I say, there's enough people down there with, the popularity of all of the cruise nights we've had and everything else. I'm hoping that there's a big turnout. So then you have a lot of foot traffic in and out of all of the local businesses downtown. It's my hopes. So,
appreciate you working with the businesses. Councilman, questions?
So the car show starts at 8, and then everybody's going on poker run at noon?
motorcycles leaving, some of the cars, if they want to, can participate in the poker run. That leaves at noon. But I was hoping that anybody that doesn't want to go on the poker run stays around the downtown area until 4. The poker run will come back into town probably 5 or 6, is my guess.
Are you wanting the city to provide all of the fencing and to do all the labor as far as blocking it off? Is that what you're asking for?
That's what I'm asking.
Is that gonna be an issue?
No, should be any big deal.
I'll make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
Jason Hines, seconds.
Burbine,
Yes.
Hines,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Sisson,
Yes.
McDermott,
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very good, Jamie.
Thank you.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Just to clarify, we were doing 2nd to 4th?
Where are we doing, we're doing East Avenue from 2nd to 4th.
Okay.
We're doing West Avenue from Railroad, it's not 2nd, it's Railroad. Railroad to 4th, and then we'll leave, and that's what we'll block off right there. Yeah, it'll be like an each. like
Good.
a state.
Good. Item 5, approve the redevelopment contract between the Polish Community Redevelopment Authority and Claude and Sherry Evans, or Taylor of the Golden Harvest Redevelopment Plan, CRA number 28, and authorize the CRA Chair and Vice Chair to sign said contract.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Hey, did everybody get a packet of the building, my plans on the building and what we're doing?
Appreciate you bringing them around.
I guess what I tried to do with that is give you guys a picture of what exactly I'm going to do as far as the building and all that, and the improvements that I'm putting into it to make it look better. And is there any questions or anything? Did anybody have any questions or understand the diagram?
Extremely thorough.
Look, it's really,
The building looks good.
I wanted the thing, like I said, I've said it, that the ground deserves a nice building on it, and I wanted to do a little added extras, and that canopy, it's ridiculous. That isn't an option that Chief does, so they had to re-engineer it. It cost, I forget, 26. Well, he gave me a low price, everything, but I think it was like $26,000 for the canopy. You know, it's ridiculous, but you know, it sets the building off like it should. You know, sets it off from a lot of stuff. The brick up front was, it's gonna be $11,000–$12,000 along the office and all that. I did add the door in the back so I could put all my boxes and store all my empty chemical shuttles, all the unsightliness type of things, put them in the back of the building where they're not going to be up front, and have easy access to them. One thing that I really didn't take into account, I originally started the project with a wood frame building, and I went to a metal frame. Just my thoughts are it's just going to look better and it's going to last longer, and you know, so. I guess that's about it, unless anybody's got any questions or anything.
Do you have a completion date?
No, just depends on when we get all this stuff done. Yeah. I mean, as soon as I get all this stuff done, you know, we've got the dirt people kind of lined out to come in. I did talk to Joe, and you know, we can get the building ordered, sounds like, and it'll be pretty fast on production on getting that done, just because things have kind of slowed down a little bit. So yeah, just as soon as we can get past all this city stuff, then we can go on with our projects. So
We have a lot of seed dealers around Phelps County.
mm-hmm.
Quite a few. You're the first one that's in our city limits.
Yeah.
Question is, are your products, are they sales tax exempt? We don't get any city sales tax on that?
Yeah, you don't get any sales. I think they are. Yep. But my other parts of this project are, you know, do have sales. I will have sales tax on them. Some of them, you know, I think I'm going to have fertilizer and chemical there. And I'll be honest with you. I talked to L&H Manufacturing out of Hastings about adding. They do cattle equipment and stuff like that. I don't know if you're aware of any of that, like creep feeders, if you're aware of what they are. I've talked to him about becoming a dealer for them and stuff like that, so.
And with the CRA contract, you're looking for a 15-year contract, correct?
Yes.
Mayor and council, my name's Mike Bacon. Generally, I'm the oldest man in the room, so it's kind of nice to see some that might be as old as me. I do tax increment financing. I'm from Gothenburg. Represent Grand Island, Wayne, did a lot of work in Lexington, North Platte, a lot of the first-class cities. And I did a survey, and there's only one community that did less than 15 years on their TIF contract, and that was Grand Island, on 1 out of 54 projects, and they had to come back later and say, we need to extend that from 10 to 15 years because the project's not working. So very few times has any of your equivalent communities done less than 15. If you do a 15-year, if you reduce it, there's a significant drop in the benefit to Claude and his wife. And what he's trying to do is pay for those things that make the building attractive and get some additional land from the state. If you can't do that, all of the pretty stuff goes away, and we end up with at best, a tin shed there. So less than 15 years really has a negative impact, especially since you also have a 10% payment to the city for administration costs. That just really takes it down. So I've done something approaching 300 TIF projects in the state, from Scottsbluff to Douglas County. Almost, I don't remember doing anything short of 15 years. It's trying to make the project go, not holding back on rate.
Mr. Taylor, how long have you been in the seed corn business? Do you have quite a clientele now?
Oh, yeah, it's been quite a while.
Long time.
Help me out, Troy. It's,
Yeah, I can't.
it's 16 years, you know.
Established.
Established, yes. And one other thing I am doing with this is like, I am gonna have a commercial sprayer with the support equipment, with, you know, all the stuff it takes to make that work. And then my hopes are, when it's all said and done, you know, have up to 10, 11 employees that'll be working there. And I'll have to just kind of work my way up to that. But my intentions, there will be a sprayer out of that location next year. What I'm doing now is I'm working out of A&M Ag, south of Kearney. And I'm working with them. They're coming in and taking care of my clientele base, fertilizer and chemical wise. And then next year I'll have my sprayer and the trucks to support it, cone bottoms, liquid fertilizer trailers, you know, whatever it takes to make the thing work. So
it'll be 15 years before we get full project on the tax roll. But refresh me, what's the but for on this project? If this building wasn't approved for TIF?
Yeah, it's just like Mike said, all the improvements that I've done, I think there were 42,000 as it sets right now.
Plus the additional ground. Right now he has qualifying $230-some thousand in eligible TIF costs. He also has a letter from his lender saying not going to finance it once he gets TIF. So the but for is inability to get financing. He doesn't have $500,000 sitting in his checking account to build a project, so he has to go to a lender. And you can imagine lenders in these uncertain times aren't real interested in lending on commercial buildings, because commercial buildings are emptying out and more right. So
I started the project out kind of small, like Mike said, and then when we progressed to some of the improvements, it just keeps adding dollars to it. I mean, there's a lot of improvements that aren't included in that sheet in the back, like landscaping and all that, you know, I want to do up front. So.
And you're still pursuing that extra ground from the state of Nebraska?
Yeah, Ron Pfeiffer called me this morning. It's sitting on some state guy's desk, kind of lost in limbo under, what am I trying to say, EPA, or they want to get it past their EPA you know, any EPA issues or anything, which I don't understand.
That's not part of this project, but if you do get that project,
yep.
Would you develop some of that too, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, it'll be into the development part of it. If you go look at the lot, there's 20 feet that's kind of already grass in front of it next to the sidewalk. That would remain theirs, and then the rest of it would all be mine. My hopes are, you know, is to, I don't know, I know where the building's going to go, and you can visualize where the driveways and gravel and all that's going to be, but when it's all said and done, I want to make it to where there's grass up front there and it looks nice and presentable and all that. Yeah. Yeah. And the building is set up too, that's another thing. The building's set up on the both walls for to be added on to, you know, later on down the road. I guess I'm being pretty optimistic that it'll grow, you know.
on the state issue, I would go to the open house tomorrow morning because the governor's going to be there. So you might be able to hurry you along.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the redevelopment contract or the project?
Rod, council? Anybody?
I think it's extremely well put together. We have a CRA for a reason. I think they're on top of it, and I'm going to follow their lead on it. I'd like to make a motion we approve it.
I'll second. Second by Troy Erbon.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Erbon.
Yes.
Hine.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you. Item 6, consider annual budget presentation request from the Holdridge Area Public Library. Mr. Burris, I presume.
Yes, thank you, Mayor and Council. If you can take one of these, pass that down. This year has been really weird for libraries. We're generally not in the business of telling people not to come in, but unlike a lot of the local libraries, we never completely closed. We immediately went to curbside service where people could call in and books would be delivered to them as they were outside in their cars. And we saw a very small dip in circulation instead of nothing. We considered our COVID experiment to be a complete and total success, and people are going to be very upset with us when we go back to regular service and eliminate the curbside service. That being said, we've also ended up changing half the staff. We've ended up changing a lot of our computer infrastructure. This past year has been a doozy. This particular budget proposal is slightly different than what we gave to the county, and the reason is noted on the front page. We have just received word on our health insurance package for our employees. That went up more than we had budgeted for originally. We budgeted 7%, it went up to 14.4%. The difference has been made up in our transfers in. We are not asking for any increase, or there's no changes in that. The difference is going to be made up from our cash reserves. So other than that, this is the exact same asking that went to the county. This is also a much smaller packet than I've given in the past few years. I've been printing out our statistics that we give to the state. That's about 50 pages. Instead of that, I gave you the statistics that all that comes from, and that's 4 pages. So all these information is still there. It's not laid out nice and neatly by question, but if you look at what our transactions and what we've been doing, I'm still giving you all the information I've got. The city contribution we're asking for the next fiscal year is a 3% increase at $360,706. The return on that is our return on investment analysis, and there's nothing arcane or hidden about this analysis. It's the number of uses times the benefit per use gives us a total. If you want to work out how much that benefit is and see what that looks like with a different estimate for hardbacks and paperbacks and children's books, you're welcome to do that and take a look at how that changes. But at this estimation, we're getting 268% of use for our community out of the money that you put in for the library. I think we are doing pretty well. I'm not sure why, but the numbers that are not included for June 2020, that's blank there. The numbers I'm getting are at 1,900 checkouts in adult books, which is about 400 checkouts higher in a month than we normally do. I don't know why that is. It may be a temporary bump because people were not allowed to come in, and now they are. I'm hoping it's a permanent thing, that the community has decided, oh yeah, we do need that, and they're making greater use of this. But as it stands right now, we're coming out of COVID, with greater support and greater use from the community than we've ever had before. So I especially ask for that you consider this this budget request for the next fiscal year. We are doing our best to ensure that we are essential and used by the community in all that we do. I guess not being allowed to come in has sharpened their appetite for some of the services and being able to look through our stacks. Any questions about the past year or our plans going forward?
Did you have much engagement with the summer reading program this year? I know you had to take that quite a bit differently also.
Yes. Normal summer reading program numbers are high 60s, low 70s for the number of participants. Right now, we're at 49. That's just been gone completely digital, and given our choices, we'd never do that again. Kids need person-to-person contact. Kids need to be able to talk to somebody and get some guidance on what they're reading, and get suggestions, and right now we aren't able to do that. We are transitioning some of our reading programs to online. We've got, as part of our makerspace that we bought while patrons were excluded, we got a little video studio, and we're using that to film reading programs and put them up on YouTube. Because of copyright issues, we are only putting them up for 1 week and then they come down, so that we are not infringing on the copyright of the author or the publisher. But we are keeping those so we can recycle them later. But right now, our preliminary indications are that that's well received and kids are really enjoying that. They're able to follow along with the librarians they know, reading books they might not know, and it seems to be drawing some attention and some interest there.
Does the library cover the insurance for the employees?
Yes,
How many employees do you have?
11 total.
How many of them are full-time?
5.
Good question. Any other questions for Mike? None. I'd like to have a motion to receive his budget proposal.
So moved.
Mary McDermott moves.
Second.
Larry Gibbon, second.
Gibbons.
Yes.
Irvine.
Yes.
Hine.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Motion carried. Before you go on, you want to introduce some of your distinguished guests, Bev
Yes.
Ream and John Sauter?
Yes, my boss, Bev, who is the president of the board, and we've got Ron Tillery, who you know. We have just been in contact with a developer. We are looking at trying to move forward with plans for a new library building. However, no developer wants to deal with us when the city has not said whether they want a new library building or not. We are not running a completely independent agency here. We are a weird part to be sure, but we are a part of the city government. We're also part of the county government, which is what makes things weird. But we're under your jurisdiction. We need to have your permission to move forward. We need to have your encouragement in order to get developers willing to go past preliminary stages of talking with us about looking into what it would take and what we can get for a new library building. I'm not looking for a commitment of funds now. What I would like and what we truly need is an official statement from the city council stating that in principle you are interested in exploring the options of a new library building. We will come to you as soon as we have anything to report. But until we get some statement of interest, dare I say even enthusiasm from the council, there will be nothing to report. We can't go any further than this.
What's the age of the current building?
The core of the current building was built in 1903. I think we still have plumbing dating from that time. It has been added on to twice, which has led to a lot of ramps, giving us floor space that we can't use except to go from one level to another. The layout is, it's the best we've got for a building that's been added onto and that's this age. But if we want to go forward and have easily maintained computer runs, we need a new building. If we want to go forward and have a permanently set up makerspace with dedicated computers for different machining, machine purposes, we are definitely going to need a new space for that. All in all, a new building with hopefully great parking is what we're looking at, what we're trying to develop. But like I said, until you give us the go-ahead, we're not going anywhere.
You wanted commitment in principle. In principle,
Yeah,
we spent $135,000 so you can add on.
I understand.
This council, I think, is interested in.
Right. Right.
And what's this principle going to cost us? How many million are we looking at, Mr. Burris?
That's what we don't know yet. We are looking at a building that is tentatively estimated to be what, about 3 to 4 million? That has, well, we currently have just under 12,000 square feet. We're looking to make that 18, hopefully 20,000 usable square feet. We've got a long way to go. This is step one. So we're and we know how much that cost. That money originally came from the library's capital development fund. The library board is really putting the money where their mouth is. They're really interested in this. But like I said, we are under you. And without your official go-ahead, no developer is going to take this past a, oh, so this is what you want, huh, type stage. We're not able to get anything more concrete than that.
Was all the house business in order?
What's that?
The purchasing of the house and all that, is that all done with?
Yeah, we purchased the house, but it's just sitting there vacant.
Is anyone considering putting said new building on the existing property, or everyone's thinking about moving it?
Right now, the exploration is to a different property, the property that is just north of the cobblestone. If that turns out to be non-feasible for whatever reason, we would go in a different direction. But one of the problems with putting a building in the current property is that the library closes down for all construction. We have to move everything in the library out. It gets demoed, and then we rebuild there. That presents some logistical issues that we would really rather not face unless we had to. So when this suggestion came up for another location, we started looking into that as well. So that's where we're at.
So the idea is a private developer could build the building.
Correct.
And the lease, I'm not sure how that would work with the county and the city.
What we've discussed so far is selling the building and land to the city so that we are not beholden to the developer past the construction stage. Again, everything we've talked about is tentative, because until we get your okay and approval, they're still looking for other buyers. And so they are not willing to commit to developing this idea any further.
Tell me what funding sources you've come across so far for your 3 to 4 million.
Well, Bev, that's more your area than mine. But
We haven't really looked into that because we're not sure if it's a viable plan yet. So, I mean, there's community foundation funds that are available.
And I'm sure there's some grant money for libraries
Yes.
available.
Right.
Probably several different grants possible. Any idea, rough estimate, what would be available for grant money, Mr. Burris?
the only one I've looked into in any depth is funding for a fiber optic internet connection to a new building. And we can get that 90%, 85 to 90% paid for by grant money. So that and the computer infrastructure for the building would run out of pocket. It would run about $3,000, and the remaining $17,000 would be taken care of by grants.
I'm not sure how that grant would work if the city didn't own the property.
Right.
If another developer,
yeah.
then we ended up leasing it, that can we even get grants for it?
Exactly.
Typically, no.
Yeah.
Typically
Yeah,
it goes to the owner.
we did not look into.
That shoots us out of the park.
Yeah, we did not look into any kind of leasing options. When we were discussing this, we said, no, that's just not, that's not an option. It needs to be purchased outright. So that is part of your remit, to set boundaries on what's acceptable and what's not.
I would never put up a building on a piece of ground I didn't own outright.
No.
People lose out on that deal every day. Especially a $3 to $4 million building, I would never
Well,
put that on a
yes.
piece of ground that wasn't owned by the library or by the city.
But
The leasing would never be an option.
no, it's not what we looked into.
Well, I say, find out whatever information you need to find out, so we have our options, we know what they are, because we already dished out $130,000 for
a house.
to move this along, so that's not doing us any good right now, so let's get the ball rolling and see what it's gonna take.
You need us to say we are interested. Do they want to see a resolution
I suspect something along
or
those lines.
a letter signed by the mayor that we're interested in exploring our options and getting some concrete numbers?
I've never done this before. I'm not really sure what the developer's looking for. When I emailed him, he said he needs a concrete gesture by the city indicating that the city was willing to go forward with this.
And the name of the developer?
Mike called.
And the developer would kind of like to get paid, I presume?
I'm suspecting that's probably in the package somewhere.
So that's the issue where we come in and where we,
But we're not interested in any sort of leasing ground whatsoever. I mean, it's a done deal right there, so there's gotta be some sort of negotiation for land.
Might be able to be talked into buying it, but not leasing.
We just sold it to him a few years ago, didn't
Yep.
Well, I'm sure we got the price down
When
on
you say
paper
we-
somewhere then too.
I don't know, gosh, we got a lot of pavement we gotta do with this ball field and.
we have a lot of irons in the fire, and a lot of people looking for more.
But we can give you something that says keep looking into it. There's no problem with that.
All right.
Rod's got something.
Rod?
Once before, the subject came up about moving the library, and the council took a lot of heat from people that didn't want it moved. And I'm wondering, has there been any surveys done to say whether the public wants us to stay down there, whether they want it moved, whether they want to I mean, I suppose you're talking some grants and maybe some fund drive, but, you know, basically, I think what you're telling the council is you want them to do a bond issue.
That is something that has been floated by the board.
Huh?
That is something that has been floated by the board. Until we actually have, you know, some sort of blueprints and actual numbers, bond issue is several steps down the road. What we do have is records of those surveys stating that people would like things close to downtown. Right now, this is as close to downtown as we can get with the kind of space that we're hoping to have.
Are you thinking about one, you know, you said you were hoping for 18,000 to 20,000 square feet. Are you thinking a single-story building?
No.
You're thinking two?
Two-story, yeah.
Question.
That would require ADA access, elevators, all of that, which
We-
significantly adds to the cost.
Yes, we already have an elevator. It's about this big, but we've got one. We've got ADA access issues in our building as it stands. That access would be significantly improved in a building that was actually built to that code, rather than trying to have to retrofit it.
And we've talked about that, Mike, the possibility you'd have the meeting room large enough that city council could have
Yes.
their meetings in there.
Yes. The current space requirements, we specified a meeting room that can serve as a banquet for, a sit-down banquet for 100 people. So yes, we would be able to have an entire city council spread out along one entire wall, in close to whatever style that you want to pay for.
Now, how many Dale Carnegie libraries are still in the state? They're getting kind
They're
of
getting
dwindled
thin on the
down.
ground. I grew up with one in Iowa, and that one got shut down and converted to an art museum in 1988, I think. Carnegie libraries are nice Gothic-looking monstrosities built out of stone that you cannot shift into another formation no matter what you do. They look great as long as you don't want to change them. And unfortunately, 100 years later, we're seeing that change is needed. Just to be able to make the books more accessible, make the other functions of the library more accessible for the patrons. So, and again, my particular hobby horse, parking for such a place.
We still have the Dale Carnegie building, but it's pretty much camouflage. You can't tell it.
Yes, it's
Been
been
remodeled.
yeah, it's been added on to. I don't know that any outside walls are still original outside walls.
That was a classic. Talk about a bond issue. This would be taken to the voters, I presume?
I suspect so. I don't know how bond issues work. I'm a librarian. I don't deal with your type of governance. I've got my plate full. I kind of figured you guys would know what to do.
Yeah, that's a ways down. We just get more information about it and then
Find out what kind of approximate cost would be and go from there, I guess.
I'd be interested in knowing how much the ground along Burlington would cost
Okay.
for the piece that you need, that you think you need, that you want.
All right. All right. All right. Well, with your permission.
Any other questions?
I would like to respond to the developer tomorrow and let him know that pled my case to you and you did not immediately boo me out. So we'd like to move forward and find just what specifics that we can get out of this project. Again, specifics for the ground, specifics for the building.
In that order.
Yep.
And if he wants to get a feel for our questions and concerns, this meeting will be on YouTube sometime tomorrow.
Okay. Do I need to come around and peek over Doug's shoulder?
No,
Okay.
you're all right.
Well, get back to us, Mr. Burris, and
Well, I thank you for your support. The community is truly enjoying the library that you are supporting, and we hope to make it even more accessible and useful to them in the future. Thank you.
thank you and your board for what you do for our community.
Thank you.
Number 8, consider proposal for exterior painting and gel coating of the swimming pool water slides. We have a lot of pictures of what this company does.
I contacted Brad, actually right after the last meeting, to get all the information. And I asked him if he had anything closer besides what was included in your packet. And he did tell me they've done one. They did 4 in Kansas. One was Colby, Kansas, Kansas City, Kansas. I think he said Leavenworth, Kansas, and one more, and I don't remember that location is. So they have done some closer. I think Colby's probably the closest, well, they've done it before.
You talked, go ahead, Larry.
Did you ask him about what it means about prevailing wage?
You know what, I knew you were gonna ask me that when I read that, and I did, but that was through you, so I apologize, I do not remember. And I'm not gonna miscommunicate with something I don't remember.
But
So,
didn't it say right there?
The labor is
that
based on no prevailing wage rate.
yeah.
So that,
If
so that's,
it's
so
a higher
it's not
wage,
gonna,
yeah,
the labor's
okay.
not gonna wiggle, is what the email says. The way I took it anyhow.
But I did visit with him about it, Larry, but like I said, it was the Wednesday right after, and I'm sorry, I don't remember.
Okay.
Memory's getting like mine.
I retain the most useless stuff in my head.
Bottom sentence there, also assuming we have reasonable lift access and working schedules.
Well, that just to make sure he's got access. We do have on the north side, there is a double wide gate to get in there. When they built the original slides, that's the area they used to get in. And then I imagine there's working schedules around our schedules, but if we close the first, you know, they would schedule it in a couple weeks and then get it done. So we wouldn't be having any problem. There wouldn't be anything that we would be holding them back on if we so choose to go this route.
After they do it, what kind of a warranty do they have?
I don't recall. There was one more email I gave Dane, or I thought maybe I missed giving it to you, Dane, but I thought it had something in there. And once again, I'm not gonna misspeak because I don't know for sure.
The finished product looks good, but what they've done.
And I'm not trying to push this. If there's something we wanna wait on, that's fine. I just brought it up, I know Jason brought it up back when we decided we thought we'd keep the pool closed, that we thought if there's any things we could do, and this was just one of them. So if the council don't feel they wanna do this one, that's fine, and I can have Brad. Brad could probably even come in on Zoom and visit if you would like him to also.
We're closing our pool August 1, so it's not that far away.
No, but what I'm stating is Brad would be more than happy to call in on Zoom and ask any questions or answer any questions that you guys would have.
Have you had a chance to check references yet? Call a couple of these places?
I did
Obviously,
not
the
call.
longevity of the work.
I apologize, I did not call and check. And if I would, I'd call the more local ones.
Uh-huh.
I mean, because the ones that he provided with the pictures, I mean, they're all spread out. They're in Canada and California and Tennessee. I would like to have I would check on the more local ones, but, I mean, if you guys are unsure, I'd just soon have Brad call in and get to the Zoom meeting and have him answer any questions that you guys have direct.
I should be glad to check in on that one on British Columbia.
Huh.
I do get mileage, don't I?
Yeah.
But any harm in I hate to drag this out, but any
No,
harm
there's
in
no-
kicking it down?
no,
I mean,
and-
he's
and
probably
no.
got a schedule this fall before the snow
I
flies
don't,
and.
I can call him again tomorrow and I can tell him that we'd like to, he can table this. I can call him again tomorrow and ask him if he can call in at that meeting, and he can call in and then he'll answer some questions.
I'm interested in how much this is gonna extend the longevity of the slides, because we want to preserve them. This is a
Right.
great idea, Jason and Kim, for doing this. That is a big draw down there. Elizabeth's down there right now. I'm interested in how long is gonna prolong the life of the slides, and just give you a chance to call some of those other, down
Well,
in Kansas, Colby and.
That's fine, but I guess initially, I just should have the council table it, and then let's have him call in. And I apologize, I should have been more forthcoming, had him do it tonight. We went back to, as you all know, went back to full staff on yesterday, and it's been kind of a rat race the last couple of days, as Mike can attest to. And so
How far out is he work-wise?
he could be here in August. If we let him know, he could be here.
So we can decide on it at the next meeting and then
Correct.
get him scheduled. The only thing I'm curious about is the warranty and any referrals.
Right.
That's
I understand that, and I had that information
Maybe,
someplace, but
Maybe like a buy one, get one half off, see if he's got one of those coupons or something.
Cool, wouldn't it?
it's probably a big coupon.
Shot.
I think we probably want to do it.
That's fine. I'll call him tomorrow and
Yeah,
ask
but-
him. I'll get it set up and we'll just have him call in and that way you guys can talk to him directly and let him answer all the questions and go forward with that.
The pictures
Yeah.
look great.
My question I'd asked at the last meeting was, are we gonna talk to any of these other towns to see if they're satisfied with it before you?
That's just what Mary
Yeah,
said.
I couldn't hear because she was talking.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
That's what Mary said, but yeah, I can call Colby and I can call some of these other, and what I'll do is I'll get something in writing, Rod. I will give them my email address and see if they will send me a positive so I can pass it out so everybody can read it.
That'd be good.
I'll make a motion, we table it till the next meeting.
I'll second.
Like system table. Second?
Burbach. Yes. Klein.
Yes.
Johnson.
Yes.
Sisson.
Yes.
McDermott.
Yes.
Gibbon.
Yes.
Great. That should take care of that. It is now time for open discussion for the staff and the council members. Dane?
Like Kim said, we went back to regular business hours yesterday amidst a little confusion, sort of. It's just different being back normal again. But it's working well, and I think everybody's satisfied, so no issues. And I'll be on vacation from the 9th through the 13th, so get out of here for a while.
He needs to get away. He's been working 6, 7 days a week sometimes. It doesn't.
Comes with the territory.
We got full staff, everybody's working together, but that could change moment's notice if we have some positive cases and stuff. It's kind of a work in progress, but it's worked well. Everybody has pulled together and done their social distancing. They're working different teams, and it's worked out very well, I think. So that's a credit to our staff and employees. So. Chief?
Just to keep you updated, the city auction, which we usually have in May, we've already set a date for moving it to September 17th. And then if weather's not good, we would move it to the 24th, the next week. Another thing is, due to COVID, National Night Out was canceled a number of months ago and was asked to be moved to the first Tuesday in October. That's when Texas always celebrates theirs due to the heat. Not that it doesn't get hot here. And they asked people to move that. And so we had moved it some time ago to the first Tuesday in October, which will be the 6th of October. Might be a little chillier now, for us at least. October can be chilly. But we're looking at having that again on October 16th. At least we've signed up with the national program just to let them know. But that's a little ways away. We're planning to have National Night Out on October 6th. That same week, I think, is also the National Coffee with the Cop, too, which would be, I think that's on a Wednesday. I think it's the first Wednesday of the month. That'll all be coming up. I just wanted to keep you in a loop in case anybody asks you about National Night Out or the city auction where we're going with that.
Question on National Night Out, you encourage everybody to get together. Is there a reason that you always plan it the night of a council meeting?
It's a national, they always had it the first Tuesday of the month, and there are other.
But it doesn't have to be that day either.
No, the other neighborhoods have done it on other days. I know when I lived on Pamela there, we would have it in September, just because we had an older age group, and we would move it to September when it was a little cooler, and then we started having it indoors at a church just to stay away from the weather problems, whether it's windy or whatever. So people can have it at any time, but we'd sure like to know so officers could stop by, talk to them, get to know them.
That's a good deal. Thank you. Troy?
Nothing.
Mr. Hines?
Most of you know, but I am moving out of Ward 4. I do not have an official close date yet, but it should be very soon. Once I know for a fact when I'll be selling my current house, I will be submitting my resignation for the council.
I'm going to say we don't have to accept it, but if he's out of the ward, I guess we have to accept it.
You also have to submit names for your replacement.
Okay.
Just FYI.
We've enjoyed having you on the council, Jason. Done a good job.
I've enjoyed it, but the new place just kind of came up and had to jump on it. So.
Don't blame you.
Do you know your real estate agent?
What's that?
Do you know your real estate agent?
I do know my real estate agent.
Like to have a word with him.
Couldn't find anything else in Ward 4?
We've been looking for quite a while, and it just kind of popped up. We kind of decided we were just going to remodel, and then that turned into, hey, this is available. So
But you can find yourself another leadership position, and I hope that you do.
I'm sure it's already been brought up. So.
When God opens doors, it's kind of nice to say, okay. Cool. Ben?
I just want to thank Kim and his crew for all their work on the pool. I know it's a pain to have plans get changed on you, but I got phone calls about it not being open, but I also got phone calls about it being open. So thanks, Kim. Thank your guys for us.
Yeah.
Rerun over here in the back row
Yeah,
here.
sorry. And the girls up front received a $20 tip from one of the grandparents who was grateful that the pool was open, so she
Oh, really?
paid for tickets and added an extra $20. We thought that was nice.
That's awesome.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Mr. Sisson?
I do not have nothing today.
I didn't think you did, but I did.
Thanks for the opportunity to.
I'll give you a chance. Mary?
Just what Ben said. Thank you to Kim and staff for hustling to get that taken care of and getting the pool open.
Well, I might step on Rod here. How you coming on the property, Tana? How's she coming on that?
I don't know, you'd have to ask her.
Oh, I can do that. I thought you had to go through you.
8th Avenue? I think
I talked to Chief.
we got the
about it.
answer over here in the back.
Again. Leah Gleason called.
Say what?
Leah Gleason called from TANFI's office.
Oh, yeah.
And she said they are prepared. We have to get the health board together, and as soon as we decide on a meeting date for the health board, we'll have to meet. The health board will have to meet and determine that that's nuisance property, and then they will attend that meeting, and then we can do the clean at that time. Start the process.
And our council president is also on that health board, and he's gonna be out of circulation here for a little bit. His wife, health issues, and working through that. Good question. Rod?
Well, just to reiterate on the pool, it was all given to you this evening. We will be closing at 6 o'clock on the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, and then closed all day on the 13th due to lack of guards. And I believe by when Mr. Anderson was in, he said that a lot of them have church camps that it was 2 weeks, so. But we'll be back to full staff and open on that following Tuesday. And they're closing at 6, so they've been open, they'll be open during the heat of the day, but to close early.
Has there been a good turnout?
I have not asked about population, what it is. I was down there the other day and there wasn't very many kids in there, maybe 30. That was like at early like 1 and not later in the afternoon.
Last night I went by there, I think it was yesterday. Looked like there was quite a few kids then, but I've been there a couple days earlier and didn't look like there was that many. But it's open, it's recreation, it's some summer jobs, it's doing what it should be doing. And we're still planning on doing the tennis court up for bids later on.
We've got the
Sod
concrete, got the concrete sod. Like I said, we're back to full staff, so we're gonna try and get caught up on some of the little things that we've gotta do. And then we're gonna be down there jackhammering, getting it all out hopefully the next couple of weeks.
You mentioned over here by east of Bosselman, Arthur Street. That street's pretty broke up.
Well, when he come, Mr. Tilson wanted that blocked off on the 25th, we already kind of made plans to start that on the 20th to block that off and start that, but I think we'll probably push that back to the 27th. And we'll be down east of Bosselman's, and so we allow semi-traffic over there. But we'll probably, because we're gonna get it painted and call for locates and get it going, because there's quite a bit area. And we're just gonna tear it all out at one time and block it off and then go that route. But I think we'll push that back to the 27th now, so we
We
don't.
didn't need the rain though. If you tear it out, we'd get some rain.
I understand that.
Exactly. Sounds good. Brian?
I don't have much. A lot of times in your notes, I try to put if we have big blinks in town, because you guys might get asked. Over the holiday weekend, we had several, and four of the big blinks were 1400 block Garfield Arthur. We had a stretch underground go bad. So when it went bad, it blew, and then the guys checking on their equipment got a false read. They thought they had it isolated, threw the fuse in again, and it blew again, and the breaker operated. So, I mean, that happens. And that was up in that part of town. And then down in this area, we had another breaker operation in the south substation, and we didn't find anything. There's probably a dead squirrel somewhere. But I just try to let you know, my wife, I don't do Facebook, but my wife said on Facebook, people were like, did anybody have a blink? And so anyway, that's what happened. So, yeah.
Sounds
That's all I
good. We had a nice fireworks display the other night. I think the firemen got donation of $1,700, I believe, what I heard. It cost the city $15,000 to do the fireworks, to buy the fireworks, but it was well attended. Kearney didn't. I saw a lot of 9 county, 52 county, a lot of people from out of town who come and enjoyed it.
I believe that 1,700 was just the one night of fundraising, correct?
Or was it cruise?
The cruise night.
Yeah.
So, I mean, something to think about next year is start taking donations, things throughout the year.
Very good. I think in the near future we need to look at that rental housing code, pursue that more. It's something that needs to be done here in the city. We have several properties that's very substandard. Nothing else? This meeting is adjourned.